Hello, hi guys. How are you? Hope you people are doing well. Even I am fantastic. In the yesterday's class, we have completed some of the basic standards, introductory standards. Actually, those standards that we have discussed in the previous class, they're actually not present in the CA final syllabus as well. But since the institute in your study material, if you observe, they have mentioned that even though the content related to those standards is not present in the study material, institute will be asking questions from those standards also, because those standards are already covered at your CA inter level. So even though that content is not present in the institute's material, institute will ask questions from those standards. Okay, this is clearly mentioned in the ICA study material. So we have discussed those standards also. Okay, so in the today's class, what we'll be doing is we'll be starting with our first chapter. Okay, previously the three standards that we have discussed, I have kept them in introductory portion. Okay, in chapter number 0 I have kept them in my book. Now in the today's class we'll be starting with chapter number 1, that is quality control. What will be there in this quality control? Even in this quality control also we will be discussing standards only. There are two standards that we will be covering in this chapter. Okay, one is SA 220 and SQC 1. I'll be explaining you what is the difference between them. And before going into the chapter, let us first of all understand the core purpose of this chapter. Okay, why this chapter has been given by institute to us. Okay, why it is kept at CA final level. Okay, even in CA inter level also you will be learning this quality related standards. Let us simply understand. Now if you see, if you observe, the name of the chapter is quality control. By seeing the name, you are getting an idea that this chapter will be dealing with quality related aspects. Quality related to what? Since we are discussing the subject of auditing, quality related to audit. Okay, this chapter will discuss quality related to audit. Now if you see, let us take an example of a manufacturing company. Okay, a manufacturing company, let's say this company is manufacturing mobile phones. Now once the mobile phone has been manufactured, there should not be any defects in that mobile phone. So the output, the manufactured product, it should be defect free. Only then we'll call that the company is maintaining high quality in its products. If there are defects in the mobile, then that product is not of high quality. Okay, after you have purchased the mobile, within 1 or 2 days the screen is not functioning properly, you are not able to listen the calls properly. Okay, in that situation you can come to a conclusion that the quality of mobile phone is not up to the mark. So in order to maintain the quality of the outcome or quality of the output, there will be various quality checks that will be conducted. Okay, in each stage of the manufacturing process and after completion of entire manufacturing process, quality checks will be conducted in order to verify whether the desired quality has been achieved or not. Okay, so this quality check will work in this manner in case of a manufacturing company. In the same way, if you apply the same concept to our auditing service, basically we chartered accountants, we provide audit. Okay, auditing services, basically auditing is a service, it is not a product, it is a service that we will provide to our clients. So in this audit service that we provide to our clients, it is our responsibility to maintain high quality. We should not compromise on the quality, right? We should not compromise on the quality. So the quality of the service that we provide to our client, it should be of highest standards. So in order to ensure high quality in the auditing service that we provide, there are certain standards that the institute has prescribed. Okay, certain guidelines are prescribed by the institute. So those standards we will be discussing in this chapter, quality control chapter. Okay, hope this is clear. So this is a brief idea of this chapter, and in this chapter we will be having two standards. One is SQC1 and another one is SA220. If you see, once we complete discussion of SQC1, the same thing will be again repeated in SA220 also. The content of these both the standards is same. Now, if the content of both the standards is same, why the institute has given two standards? It would be enough if the institute has just given one standard, na? Why it has given two standards if the content is same? Let us understand it. Now, if you see an audit firm, okay, a CA firm, tell me whether CA firm provides only auditing service, or apart from auditing service, will it also provide other services? The answer is obviously apart from auditing service, a CA firm will also provide various other types of services also, right? Now, firstly, in the auditing service that the CA firm provides, it needs to maintain quality, right? The auditing service that the firm provides, it needs to maintain quality. Now, with respect to maintaining quality in the auditing service that the firm provides, SA 220 will be applicable. Okay, SA 220 contains content or guidelines with respect to maintaining quality in the auditing service or the audit engagement that the firm takes up. Now, okay, now apart from auditing service, firm will also provide various other services like review engagement, basically SRE 2400 series. There are separate series of standards. Okay, only two standards, SRE 2400, SRE 2410. These two standards, they speak about these review engagements. This review engagement is also one of the service that an audit firm provides. We will be discussing these standards. Okay, this SRE 2400 and SRE 2410, these two standards we have in our syllabus. We will be discussing them. Next, review engagement the auditor firm will provide, and assurance engagements, basically SAE 3400 series. There are three standards in this series: SAE 3400, SAE 3402, SAE 3420. These three standards with respect to standards on assurance engagement. Even these three standards we have in our syllabus. We will be discussing them. Next, the firm will also provide related services. Basically, SRS 4400 series. Okay, SRS 4, again here in 4400 series we are having again two standards. So this also we have in our syllabus. So apart from auditing service, firm will provide various other services also. So in these other services also, firm has to maintain quality, right? So in order to maintain quality in these other services, SQC1 deals with maintaining quality at the firm level, at the entire firm level. Okay, quality at firm level. That means all the engagements that the firm, that the CA firm performs, it needs to maintain quality in all the engagements as per SQC1. That means at the firm level, maintaining quality at the entire firm level, SQC1 deals. And maintaining quality at the audit engagement level, SA 220 deals. Okay, now since SQC1 is broader one, okay, it is applicable at the entire firm level. SA 220, which is applicable at the audit engagement level, SA 220 should be in line with SQC1, right? Because first of all, firm, at the firm level it has to comply with SQC1, right? Whatever the guidelines provided in SQC1, the firm has to comply. And also firm will take up audit engagement. At the audit engagement level, it needs to comply with SA 220 quality related aspect. Now SA 220, it has been developed based on SQC1. Okay, hope this is clear. So now in the examination, it is very important to identify from which standard the question is being asked. Okay, if the, first of all you need to identify whether the question is related to quality. If it is related to quality, whether SQC1 will be applicable or SA 220 will be applicable, that you need to determine. How you will determine? If the question speaks about all other engagements, okay, apart from auditing engagement, if it speaks about all other engagements or it speaks about maintaining quality at the firm level, then SQC1 will be applicable. If the question specifically speaks about auditing engagement, then SA 220 will be applicable. Hope that is clear. Now here SQC1, what is the full form of this SQC? Full form is Standard on Quality Control 1. Okay, I hope now you understood what is the difference between SQC1 and SA 220. Even though both the standards deal with quality related aspect, SQC1 is applicable at the firm level. SQC1 is applicable for all the engagements that the firm takes up, whereas SA 220 is applicable at the audit engagement level. Okay, so throughout this chapter you need to remember this point. Okay, only if you remember this point you will understand the entire chapter, otherwise you will confuse, because in SQC1 and in SA 220 we will be discussing same concepts, but in SQC1 we will be discussing from the point of view of firm, whereas in SA 220 we will be discussing from the point of view of audit engagement. Okay, so this point you need to remember throughout the chapter. What is the point? SQC1 is applicable at the firm level. SQC1 is applicable for maintaining quality for all the engagements that the firm takes up, whereas SA 220 is applicable at the engagement level. Okay, for the audit engagement that the firm takes up, SA 220 is applicable. Hope that is clear. Now, for the audit engagement that the firm takes up, I said that SA 220 will be applicable. Okay, that means whether SQC1 will not be applicable? No, I didn't said that for audit engagement level SQC1 will not be applicable. No, SQC1 will be applicable for all the engagements that the firm takes up. Okay, SA 220 is more specifically applicable for only audit engagement. Okay, SA 220 is again not applicable for these remaining engagements. Hope you are clear. But for these remaining engagements, SQC1 is applicable, including audit engagement. SQC1 is applicable. Hope you understood. Now, you can just take some 2 minutes and make a note of this. Okay, in your notebook, after writing this, you just note down a single point that I will tell you. Okay, first of all, what you will do is you pause the video and you make a note. Okay, pause the video and make a note. Hope you are done. Now, below this diagram, write a point stating that SQC1 is applicable at the firm level. Okay, SQC1 is applicable at the firm level for all the engagements. Okay, you need to observe clearly the terminology that I am using. SQC1 is applicable at the firm level for all the engagements that the firm takes up. Okay, whereas hope you are done with the first point. SQC1 is applicable at the firm level for all the engagements that the firm takes up. Whereas SA 220 is specifically applicable. SA 220 is specifically applicable for the audit engagements. Okay? Yes. You can underline that point. Now we'll move into the chapter. I'll just open the PPT. Okay. Now, so the chapter that we're going to discuss is quality control. And in this chapter, there will be two standards. One is SQC1 and SA 220. I have just told you the differences between, not the difference, the major difference between SQC1 and SA 220. I have told you, right? So, what are the standards that are dealing with quality control? Okay, with respect to this quality control, what are the standards that are dealing? We have already discussed SQC1 and SA 220. We'll just see their names. SQC1, yeah, SQC1. You see how big the name itself is. quality control. Okay, you have to clearly observe the terminology that is being used. Quality control for what? For firms. Okay, that means at the firm level, for firms that perform what? Audits. Okay, this is the first type of engagement. And review of historical financial information, that is reviews, firms that perform reviews. And other assurance. Okay, firms that perform assurance engagements. Okay, assurance engagements means you will provide an assurance on particular aspect. We'll be discussing that. Okay, in SAE 3400 series we'll discuss what are those assurance engagements. Next, and related services. What are these related services? You don't worry, you just remember that this is one type of service that CA firm will provide. Okay, in detail we'll discuss when the time comes, that is in SRS 4400 series we'll discuss. Because if again I if I try to tell you what these engagements are now, it will take up 1 hour easily. So I will explain you in detail all these terms when the time comes. Because even if I explain you these terms again at the time of discussing those standards, again I have to explain. Okay, why to waste of time again 2 times? So I will explain you them at the time of discussing the respective standard. Now you just remember that these are the 4 types of services that the CFM provides. So yeah, this is the 4 service. See, the standard name itself, by just reading the standard name itself, you can come to a conclusion that SQC1 is dealing about quality at firm level, and the firm that is performing the 4 types of engagements. Hope that is clear. So that is SQC1. Now coming to SA220. Now observe the difference in the name between SQC1 and SA220. In SA220 it says quality control. Okay, for what? For audit of financial statements. The name of the standard itself is clearly stating that it is applicable only for the audit of financial statements. Okay, if auditor wants to maintain quality at the audit engagement level, then he needs to follow SA 220. Okay, specifically. And along with SA 220, he should also comply with SQC1. But SQC1, it will be complied at the firm level, not at the individual audit engagement level. Hope that is clear. So now you could have come to a conclusion that these 2 standards, they are interlinked to each other. What happened? Just a second. Yeah, these 2 standards, they are interlinked to each other. That is the reason why I have given you this diagram. Okay, which are looking similar, alike. Okay, the same references of diagrams I have also given you in your book. Because in audit what happens is you need to remember the terminology. Okay, apart from remembering the concepts, you should also remember the terminology, and you will be able to remember the terms if you see these types of images. Okay, so wherever possible I have tried to give the respective images. So in examination also, since you would have read the book lot of times, and while reading the book you would have seen the respective image that is present beside it. The image will, you will be capturing that image in your subconscious mind. So in the examination also, whenever any question related to that comes, even though you don't remember that concept, the image will strike to you. First of all, based on that you can try to remember the terms or the concept. Okay, so these are the 2 standards that are dealing with standards on quality control. Now obviously we will be first of all discussing SQC1. Okay, after completing SQC1 we will be discussing SA220. Okay, once we complete SQC1, it will not take much time to complete SA220. Okay, now just to understand, I'm telling you that firm should maintain quality. Okay, I hope you understood what quality is, because quality is a general term, okay, which you can understand generally. But ho- how this quality will be with respect to auditing service that the firm provides. Okay, to understand this I have just given some examples. Okay, some examples of situations where quality is not present. Okay, by seeing these examples you will get an idea of what is meant by maintaining quality in the audit. Let us see. I will read these points. After reading the point, you just try to answer yourself whether quality has been maintained in that audit or not maintained in that audit. Okay, let us deal the first example. What happened to this? It is not working. Oh, yeah. So first example, audit report issued under Companies Act 2013 referred to profit in the financial statements. However, audited financial statements reflected a loss. See, in the financial statements, there is a loss. Okay, auditor has audited those financial statements and he has given audit report. Now, in the audit report, if you have properly done your articles and if you have properly copy pasted the audit reports, you would have observed that you will be referring to the financial statements, especially to the profit and loss statement, stating whether there is profit or loss in the profit and loss statement. Okay, in your audit report you will mention the profit or loss of the entity. Okay, you will use that term profit or loss. Now, in the financial statements, there is loss. If there is loss in the financial statements, in your audit report also, you should use the term as loss, right? But the audit report states as profit. That means you have copy pasted your audit report from previous year. That is the reason why the term profit is also copy pasted as it is. So, in this situation it is clear that there is no quality in the audit. So this is one of the example of where there is lack of quality in the audit. Another example, audit report of company referred to cash flow statement, whereas audited financial statements did not comprise of a cash flow statement as it was a small company. Obviously, for small companies, basically cash flow statement, the requirement of cash flow statement is not applicable, right? Now, in the audit report, you will identify each statement of financial statements, okay, stating that we have audited balance sheet, profit and loss statement and cash flow statement, if at all cash flow statement is applicable to the entity. Now, since the entity is a small company, obviously cash flow statement will not be applicable to the entity. Since the cash flow statement is not applicable to the entity, in the audit report you should not make reference to the cash flow statement, but audit report is stating or making reference to a cash flow statement. Again, here also you copy pasted from the previous year or from the audit report of some other company. So here also there is lack of quality. So these are some of the examples of where audit lacks quality. Okay, now in order to maintain the quality you need to comply with SQC1 and SA220. Now, difference between SQC1 and SA220. Okay, we have been discussing that there are two standards that deals with quality, that is SQC1, SA220. And what is the difference between them? The major difference I have already told you. Okay, the same difference you'll find. SQC1 SA220. First of all, SQC1 applies to entire firm. Okay, at the entire firm level, SQC1 is applicable, whereas SA220 applies to particular audit engagement. Okay, to a particular audit engagement, SA220 is applicable. Next, just a second, I'll just plug in the charger. Yes. So SA220 is applicable at audit engagement level. Next, SQC1 is applicable for auditing service, review service, other assurance service, and related services. Whereas SA220 is applicable only for audit engagements. Okay, and SQC1, complying with SQC1, the responsibility lies with CEO or the managing partner of the firm. Okay, now in order to comply with SQC1, you need to give responsibility to someone. Okay, if you don't give responsibility to someone, no one will comply with the standard. But if you fix the responsibility, that responsible person will ensure that the firm will comply with the respective standard. So fixing responsibility is must. Okay, just giving a task is not sufficient. Okay, if you just give a task, you don't know whether it will be performed or not. But if you also fix a responsibility for that task, then if the task has not been performed, you can ask, you can question that responsible person. So fixing responsibility is also very much important. So here the responsibility to comply with SQC1 is with CEO, that is chief executive officer. Basically in CA firms we will not be having chief executive officer. Okay, in case of a company you will be having CEO or managing partner. Okay, for CA firms there will be managing partner, right? So the responsibility to comply with SQC1 lies with managing partner. Hope that is clear. Whereas the responsibility to comply with SA220 lies with engagement partner. Okay, engagement partner takes the responsibility. Now you might get it out, what is the difference between managing partner and engagement partner. Now let's say for example there is a CA firm. Yeah, let's say for example there is a CA firm by name ABC and Co. Now in ABC and Co there are three partners, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. Now Mr. A is a managing partner. Okay, now this ABC and Co, it will take up a lot of audit engagements, right? Now all the audit engagements, they cannot be done by Mr. A himself. Okay, even though he is managing partner, he cannot do all the audit engagements. So for each audit engagement there will be a particular partner who will be given responsibility. Okay, we will be calling him as engagement partner. Okay, let's say for audit of X limited, responsibility has been given to Mr. B. So Mr. B becomes engagement partner of that particular audit engagement. Hope that is clear. So that is the difference between engagement partner, managing partner. Now responsibility to comply with SQC1 lies with managing partner, whereas responsibility to comply with SA220 lies with engagement partner. Why? Because SA220 is applicable at the audit engagement level, and at the audit engagement level, who is the highest authority? At the audit engagement level, engagement partner himself is the highest authority to comply with any standard. So the responsibility to comply with SA220 has been given to that particular engagement partner. Hope that is clear. So now I guess you understood. Next, to obtain reasonable assurance that firm and its personnel comply with PLR requirements so that reports issued by the firm are appropriate in circumstances. Basically, this is the objective. What is the objective of SQC1? Objective of SQC1 is to obtain reasonable assurance that the audit firm and the personnel who are working in the audit firm, who will be working in the audit firm, first of all the CA partners, they will be working in the audit firm, and employees, okay, they will be working in the audit firm, and article assistants, they will be working in the audit firm, and paid assistants, they will also be working in the audit firms. So audit firm and all the personnel who are working in the audit firm, they must comply with PLR requirements. What is this PLR requirements? PLR requirements means professional, legal, and regulatory requirements. Okay, professional means basically our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It will issue various professional requirements, like it will issue various guidance notes, it will issue code of ethics, okay, it will issue various guidelines. So all these professional requirements that the institute has issued, they must be followed by the firm and the firm's personnel. Next, legal and regulatory requirements. Legal and regulatory requirements, they will be given by the government. Okay, government will pass various acts, Companies Act, Income Tax Act, GST Act, okay, like this various legal and regulatory requirements, the government, they will pass. So while conducting the audit engagement, the respective legal and regulatory requirement you need to comply. Okay, so objective of SQC1 is to ensure that the firm and its personnel comply with professional, legal, and regulatory requirements. Okay, PLR requirements. And once these professional, legal, regulatory requirements are complied, obviously the report that you will issue, it will be appropriate in the circumstance. Okay, there will not be any quality issues in the report will be appropriate. Next, objective of SA 220, it is also premised on the basis that firm is subject to SQC1. Okay, the objective of SA 220 is also similar to that of SQC1 only, but at the audit engagement level, not at the entire firm level. Okay, and another question, firm has not implemented SQC1. Okay, firm has not implemented SQC1. Whether engagement partner, whether it will be possible for the engagement partner to implement the SA 220 at the audit engagement level. The answer is no, because engagement partner will have to work within the limits of SQC1. Okay, if the firm has already established SQC1, okay, if the firm is already having quality related, basically we'll be calling it as a system of quality control. Okay, if the we'll be listening that term, okay, I'll be explaining you what is meant by system of quality control. If the firm has established a system of quality control, only then based on that, engagement partner can establish the, or the engagement partner can comply with SA 220 requirements at the audit engagement level. So you should remember that if the firm has not established SQC1, okay, if the firm has not complied with SQC1, then audit engagement partner will not be able to comply with SA 220. Hope that is clear. So it is premised on the basis that that firm is subject to SQC1. Okay, premised means assumed. Okay, SA 220 will assume that firm has implemented SQC1. Okay, SQC1 is applicable at the firm level. Okay, SA 220 will assume that. Okay, yes, whatever the recommendations that are made in the SA 220, all these recommendations, they are made based on the assumption that the firm has complied with SQC1, or SQC1 is applicable to the firm. Hope that is clear. Based on this assumption, the SA 220 will give its or SA 220 will have its what do you say, that whatever written in SA 220, it is written based on the assumption that for the audit firm SQC1 is applicable. Hope that is clear. So we'll be starting with SQC1. Just a second. Yes. So SQC1, as the name we have already discussed, quality control for the firms that perform audits, reviews, other assurance and related services. Okay, applicable at the entire firm level. Now, coming to objective of SQC1. What is the objective of SQC1? I have divided this into three parts. Okay, in order to easily remember the objective of SQC1, I have divided it into three parts. Let's see. First objective, establish system of quality control. Okay, the first objective of SQC1 is at the firm level. Okay, the firm at the firm level, system of quality control has to be established. What is this system of quality control? Don't worry, I'll explain you. Okay, first of all we'll see all the three objectives, then I'll explain you what is meant by system of quality control. Okay, first objective is establish system of quality control at the firm level. Next objective, to obtain reasonable assurance that firm and its personnel comply with professional legal regulatory requirements. Okay, while discussing the differences we have discussed this point. Okay, to obtain reasonable assurance that firm and its personnel, okay, that is who are working in the firm, they must comply with professional legal and regulatory requirements. This is a second objective. And third objective, once you comply with this, the report that you will issue, see, reports issued are appropriate in the circumstances. Okay, whatever the report that the firm issues, that must be appropriate in the circumstance. So these are the three objectives of SQC1. What are the three objectives of SQC1? First of all, system of quality control has to be established and obtain a reasonable assurance. Once system of quality control has been established, the firm will be able to obtain reasonable assurance that the firm and its personnel are complying with professional legal and regulatory requirements. And once professional legal and regulatory requirements are complied, the reports that you will issue will be appropriate in the circumstances. Okay, so these are the three objectives of SQC1. Hope you'll be able to remember these three objectives. Now we should understand what is meant by system of quality control. Now you can understand that this system of quality control is a type of document. It is a internal document that the firm has to develop. What will be there in this document? This document will contain policies and procedures. Okay, policies and procedures to what? Related to what? Policies and procedures related to maintaining quality at the audit firm level. Okay, that means if the quality has to be maintained, then there should be certain guidance, there should be certain guidelines that should be given. Okay, if these guidelines are followed by the firm and the firm personnel, then the quality will be automatically maintained at the firm level. So these guidelines, they should be written somewhere, right? You can't just say them and leave them as it is. If you write them somewhere, and if you give it to all the employees of the firm, and if you also give it to the new employees of the firm, then all the people, all the personnel of the firm, they will get to know about what policies and procedures they have to comply with. Once they comply with those policies and procedures, quality will automatically be maintained at the firm level. So the system of quality control is a document which will contain policies and procedures related to quality control. Hope that is clear. So let us see what will be there in system of quality control. Policies and procedures designed to achieve objectives as per SQC1. Okay. What is the objective of SQC1? Objective of SQC1 is to maintain quality at the firm level, right? So in order to achieve that objective of SQC1, various policies and procedures that the firm has established will be written in this system of quality control. Hope that is clear. Okay. System of quality control is a document which will contain policies and procedures related to achieving the objective of SQC1. What is the objective of SQC1? Objective of SQC1 is to maintain quality at the firm level. Okay. Hope that is clear. I guess now you understood system of quality control. Now, okay, firm has to prepare its own system of quality control, right? Each firm can prepare its own system of quality control because the policies and procedures of each firm, it can have different policies and procedures. But the standard SQC1 has given a specific requirement. Okay, it has given minimum requirements. That means minimum these must be present in your system of quality control. Okay, along with these, if you want, you can add additional points, but these 6 points must be present. Okay, basically SQC1 has given 6 points. The policies and procedures related to these 6 points must be present in your system of quality control. Apart from these 6 points, if you want to add any additional points, you can happily add, but you cannot delete any of these 6 points. These 6 points are mandatory. Okay, the policies and procedures related to these 6 points must be mandatorily present in your system of quality control. Now what are these 6 points? Let us see. Elements of system of quality control. I hope you understood. Okay, basically SQC1 has told, see, audit firms, I have told you to establish a system of quality control, right? Now you can develop your own system of quality control, but make sure that in your system of quality control these 6 points must be present. Okay, apart from these 6 points, if you want, you can add additional points also, but you should not compromise on these 6 points. Hope that is clear. Now what are these 6 points? Literally, if we complete a discussion of all these 6 points, our standard gets completed. Okay, this entire standard is about these 6 points only. Okay, let us see. First of all, we'll just get a brief idea of these 6 points, then we'll discuss each of that point in detail. Okay, so we'll be calling these technically as elements of system of quality control. Okay, what are these? These are elements of system of quality control. Okay, each element must be present in the system of quality control. Okay, if each of this element is present in the system of quality control, then that becomes a complete system of quality control as per the SQC1. Okay, so each of this element is a kind of building block. Okay, each of this must be present in the system of quality control. Let's see. Elements of system of quality control. First one, leadership responsibility for quality within the firm. Okay, the system of quality control must clearly mention who will be having leadership for maintaining quality within the firm. Obviously, as we have discussed in the differences point, CEO or the managing partner will be having leadership for ensuring the system, for ensuring this quality control at the firm level, right? So this must be clearly specified in the system of quality control who will be having leadership responsibility. Okay, next, ethical requirement. Okay, compliance with ethical requirements. Basically there are 5 ethical requirements that are issued by code of ethics. We will be discussing each of these 5 ethical requirements. So system of quality control should also contain policies and procedures with respect to ethical requirements. Next, acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagements. Okay, while accepting a new engagement or while accepting a new client, what points you need to keep in mind? Okay, what points you have to check with respect to this? Also, policies and procedures must be present in the system of quality control. Next, human resources. With respect to human resources also, there should be policies and procedures in the system of quality control. Okay, with respect to human resources means hiring policies, and how you will be giving promotions to the employees in the firm, and how you will measure their performance. With respect to all these, there should be policies and procedures. This will impact the quality of the assignments, right? The basically, if you hire more qualified people, then the quality of the assignments that the firm will perform will obviously be increased. So quality of the firm is directly having relation with respect to the human resource that the firm is having. Okay, so with respect to human resources, there should be policies and procedures in the system of quality control. And engagement performance, how you will increase the performance of the engagement. With respect to this also, there should be policies and procedures. Basically, under this you will be discussing about engagement, quality control review, and consultations. Okay, all this will be discussing under the engagement performance. Okay, how to increase the performance of the engagement. If the performance of the engagement is increased, automatically it will be meant that quality of the engagement is high. And finally, monitoring. Okay, all these aspects has to be properly monitored, and if at all any additions has to be made or any alterations has to be made, they have to be done properly at the proper time, and whether the all the persons in the firm are properly complying with the quality related aspects or not. If they are not complying, how you will make them to comply? Okay, if they are not complying, how you will punish them? So all these aspects will be covered under monitoring. So these are the 6 elements that must be present in a system of quality control. Now you can uh, now I will just give you a simple tip on how to remember these 6 elements. In order to remember these 6 elements, you just remember this term, leadership. Now in the leadership, first letter is L. L for leadership. Second letter is E. E for ethical requirements. Third letter is A, right? L E A. A for acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement. Next letter is D. Now you replace this D with H. H for human resources. Okay, next letter is E. E for engagement performance. And finally, all these 5 has to be monitored. So in this way you can remember these 6 elements by just remembering the term leadership. Okay, leadership. L for leadership responsibility within the firm. E for ethical requirements. A for acceptance and continuance of engagement. Now D has to be replaced with H, that is human resources. Next again E. E for engagement performance, and all these 5 elements has to be monitored properly. So these are the 6 elements. Now we will discuss each of these 6 elements. or okay? What I'll do is I'll be winding up this video as of now. Okay, we'll discuss the remaining concepts in the next video. Okay, take care, bye bye, see you. And you please just go through the concepts that we have discussed in the today's class. Okay, in the tomorrow's class we'll cover the remaining topics from this quality control. Okay.